here with another music review. This time it is Steven Tyler's solo album called We're All Somebody from Somewhere. Now everybody's like, oh, Steven Tyler's making the country album. Steven Tyler's making a country album. This just feels like a Steven Tyler album. Doesn't feel like an Aerosmith album necessarily. It's not as straightforward rock as you would expect from Aerosmith. And Steven Tyler enlisted some fairly well-known country writers to help him write a lot of these songs, like the Warren brothers, Brad and Brett Warren, who I actually have one of their albums from probably about 10 years ago-ish, maybe less. And they've written for a lot of people in country music. They've written for Tim McGraw and stuff like that back in the day. And I enjoy that album of theirs that I have. I really liked this album. Here's the cover art. I like the back of the booklet. It has some really nice pictures of Steven Tyler. This one right here. Let me ask my friend Christy, who's probably going to watch this. Who does this remind you of? With the white streaks in the front. I'll give the rest of you a little guess. Particularly the way he's dressed right there. John Corabi. She and I saw John Corabi in concert. Actually twice. Because we saw him when he was doing his solo tour, and then we saw him, I didn't know until later, he is the front man of Dead Daisies, and they opened for, I can't remember who they opened for that we saw, but they were good. Anyway, I just got off topic. Anyway, so I really enjoy this. It's not like, you know, this is not a pickin' and grinning type of country album, if you want to call it. If you are as talented as Steven Tyler is, and is in writing and singing, you can sing anything. So, and there have even been, like Ragdoll from Permanent Vacation, back in the late 80s, it had a Dixieland feel to it. So, and he and Joe Perry wrote that. I did really enjoy this. It's fun. It's a fun album with a little bit of a different feel for him. Now, it's not trying to do straight on country like that Elton John album that came out earlier this year. It felt really country and felt really odd for Elton John to do. And I love Elton John. But this, because Steven Tyler is known for being his groove, and he can just make stuff up at the drop of a hat. You know, he can just sing whatever, he can make up lines. He's prolific like that. This didn't seem unusual to me. I really don't feel like this is what people would consider a country album. This is a Steven Tyler album. So, I would say pick it up. I really enjoyed it. Let me tell you what some of my favorites were. My Own Worst Enemy is the first cut on the album, and it was co-written by Steven Tyler with the Warren brothers, Brad and Brett Warren. It's a really great song, and most of the songs that he wrote with the Warren brothers I liked a lot, which isn't surprising because I do like their music. The title track, We're All Somebody from Somewhere, was really fun. It didn't feel country. It didn't necessarily feel rock like Aerosmith would be. It was something interesting all its own, I felt. I also really liked I Make My Own Sunshine with, it was written by Alyssa, I'm going to butcher her name, Alyssa Bonagura, oh my God, Bonagura. Oh, sorry, I butcher it. Anyway, I really enjoyed that, and basically it's saying that, you know, it doesn't matter if it rains, it doesn't matter if you try to break me or anything like that, I make my own sunshine. The things around me aren't what makes me happy. I make myself happy, is what it's saying. I also really liked a song called Only Heaven, which he co-wrote with Rhett Aiken and Chris DeStefano. Really enjoyed that too. And you know, Rhett Akins is he's big in country music. And I also liked The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and Me, which is another one that was penned by him and the Warren Brothers. Sweet Louisiana was a fun tune. It had some accordion and some fiddle, which reminded me of, it gave that kind of Zydeco feel that you'll find down in New Orleans or even in Southeast Texas. I'm from Southeast Texas and we're really close to the Louisiana state line. So it's not unusual to hear Zydeco type music around the area. And I also liked What Am I Doing Right, which is basically someone who can't believe that they're lucky and is lucky to have a certain person in their life, and they're trying to figure out, I do so many things wrong, what did I do right to deserve this type of thing. And then there is a terrific rendition of Janie's Got a Gun, which was on Pump, I believe. If I'm wrong, I'll write it on here. But I believe it was on Pump, which came out when I was in high school. Permanent Vacation, like my three absolute favorite Aerosmith albums are Toys in the Attic, which came out back in the 70s. Then there was Permanent Vacation, which came out in the late 80s, and Pump, which came out in the late 80s, early 90s. And so, and both of those last two came out when I was in high school. So, love. Anyway, Janie's Got a Gun, I believe, was on Pump, and I'm sure you've heard it. It's a really edgy sort of rock tune, and and it was written by Steven Tyler and Tom Hamilton, who was also in Aerosmith. And the rendition that he does is slowed down and more acoustic. It's like he's really soaking all the words up for that is not coming out right. It's like it's slowed down, so it's like he's really getting everything out of each word that you can get out of it. It's a really great rendition. And then the very last song on here is Piece of My Heart, which is a classic tune. Janis Joplin did it. I'm sure tons of other people did it. And, you know, Faith Hill did it back in the day. And it's a really great version, and it almost feels like it was recorded live, the way that it sounds. It sounds a tad bit different than the rest of it. It almost feels like it was recorded live with the whole band there. I mean, I can't tell you that it was, but that's what it sounded like. So, pick this up. Even if you like country music, like, I'm a fan of old country music. I'm not a fan of a lot of modern country music. It just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't have, you can't see me pointing, it doesn't have the heart that a lot of the older country music had. But this I enjoyed. It's a fun album. I don't necessarily, like I said, I don't necessarily consider this a country album. It's a Steven Tyler solo album. There you go. But it's not, but don't expect Aerosmith part 2. So, pick it up. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a lot of fun. You know, this man can do anything with his voice. So it is a lot of fun. You get to hear him I personally think a lot more as a straightforward singer on here than you even do in a lot of Aerosmith songs, because he does all of those vocal acrobatics that he is known for. But you really get to hear how great his voice is on here. I think this is more of a stage for his voice than some of the other Aerosmith albums have been. So pick it up. I give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed these reviews. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, so you can come back and sit for a spell, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.